This is the March 2024 course of fire for the NRL22.
3, 2, 1, time.
Hey shooters, this is Joe Lowley from Precision Match Timer and Precision Match Gear. This is the March 2024 course of fire for the NRL22. And so last month was the February course of fire. Shot it up at 17 South and I did terrible. I really did quite poor, mostly because of one stage. It was that tripod stage, which I said was going to be the hardest. And when I got there, I was concentrating so much on what I was going to do with the tripod that I didn't think about the rest of the stage and the prone part. And so I was just concentrating on what bags I was going to use and how I was going to handle it. The height they had the tripod set up at, maybe I could kneel it, maybe I could stand, I'd have to see. So when the guy said, you know, engage, I put on the tripod and boy, it was wobbly, it didn't work. I got off a couple of poor shots. And then I went down to the prone stage, dropped my rifle down, and I said out loud, oh my God, I forgot my bipod. I didn't have my bipod with me. It wasn't on my rifle. And so I got down with my bag and tried to shoot it that way because I can't go get extra gear at that point. And I could barely even see the targets. I tried piling up a couple of bags because I did have one extra one with me. That didn't work either. Very flustered at that point, get back on the tripod, get some poor shots off, get back on the prone, and I could barely even see the targets. So it was a very good learning lesson though, in that I really need to think through the entire stage, not just the hard part of the stage, because it ended up that the easier part of the stage gave me more problem. And so I ended up with like a 3 out of 12 on it. It was a killer at that point to go down 9. And you know, I ended up losing the match by 7. So that was a tough one to deal with, but it taught me a lesson to move on from it, and I've been trying to get better at that. And so that's just a little PSA for you. Think about the entire stage. Think about your gear for the entire stage, and don't get too focused on any one particular part of it. So with that being said, let's move on to the next stage, the first stage. Let's get on with it and see what we can do. Stage 1, Lucky Charms. All right, so this stage is a pyramid stage, and the important things to remember here is there are 5 positions, 2 targets. Targets are 80 yards, a 1.5 and a 2.5. And you have to shoot from 5 different positions, but you also have to shoot from 5 different rungs, and you have to shoot at least 1 on the left, 1 on the right, and 1 in the center. So most likely what I'll do is start at the bottom on one side, go up to the middle, go up to the right, and then work my way up. That makes the most sense to me, but I'm going to see when I go out there. One of the things you're going to see is I'm going to try to do something a little different this month. I've been watching not only my old videos, I've been watching other people's videos that do these kinds of things, and it's kind of boring just to watch someone else shoot, and it doesn't necessarily give you a lot of information. So I am not really going to shoot the entire course of fire. It doesn't help anyone that much. I'm going to talk a little bit more about each of the positions, the best kind of positions that you can get out of it. I am going to be basing it on the stage, so if there's small targets or if there's larger targets, you know, different things you can do, different bags you can try, and go through things that way. So let's try doing that, and let's get out there and practice. All right, so we're going to start on the pyramid, and the thing to remember on this is try to strategize where you're going to go. I like to shoot, obviously, the first one in a prone. I don't want to come out of here in prone. I think it's too tight, so I'm going to start here. Then I was debating whether I just come up here or whether I go in. And I think I am going to go in. And I'm going to come all the way over, because then I'm going to jump up to the outside rungs and go up. And I'm going to show you something that I'm going to do on this second position, which is my worst position by far. Playing around with it, and there's some things that I thought of from, in fact, the old ladders, when we used to use the ladder a lot more. There's some things that you can do with the rungs, so I am going to do that. Let's go ahead and run this one through, but I'll just talk it through. I'm not gonna, well, I should probably time it just so we know we have enough time. All right, shooter ready, engage. So I'm going to put it in that first position, come down into a prone, and there it is. Easy 1-2. Very stable. So now I'm going to come in here into this position, and normally I would shoot about like here. You can see it's a little bouncy. Sometimes I can get my knee up a little better, but if you use that technique with, you put your hand up above your scope and wedge it into the rung, and look how stable this gets. One. Practically like prone. Take it out, move it up. That second one gets a little bouncy. Again, put your hand up here. And that helps a lot. Finish it up.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So,
Time.
even with me gapping and trying things and figuring it out, I still had enough time to shoot that. Obviously, I took too much time on that second rung trying to explain it, but I'm really happy with that. I might use that position more often with the pyramid in general. And so I like that. It can be used in other places. It's a little harder on the outside. The inside positions make it really nice, but it takes longer to get in and out. So very cool. I'm glad I figured that out for myself. And that's what you need to be doing, is getting out and practicing to see what works for you. Stage 2, pot of gold. So this is the sawhorse stage. There are two distances, 55 and 92 yards, which with a large and a small at each of them. The sawhorse, we're shooting from the left side of it and the right side of it, about 3 inches in from the edges. And what we need to shoot is, from one position, shoot near target, large, large, small. Far target, large, large, small. Near target, small, small, large. Far target, small, small, large. So, not too bad. Just remember it's 2 and then 1 each time. And what we're going to do is we're going to spend a little bit of time on that sawhorse. We're going to see if any combination of bags seems to be better than another. I've had a lot of trouble with the sawhorse recently. I think it was 2 months ago we had it, and I did not shoot it that great. it's just one of those positions that I have a little bit of trouble with. I don't know if it's my height or my knee position. I really can't get a knee on it very well. The bag doesn't seem to help a lot. So we're going to play with it a little bit, try different bags, try different positions, and just see what we can do to improve ourselves on the sawhorse. All right, we're going to look at this sawhorse stage. I always have trouble with this one. And so we're going to look at all the different bags that I have and see what works best with it. It's usually a little better at the match than here. We shoot on concrete. It doesn't wobble quite as much. But I wobble this way and side to side. So that's what I need to eliminate. So this is my normal setup where I'm just going to shoot it like this. Turn on the trigger cam. So if I were to shoot it with nothing, okay, you can see that's pretty bad. Try it with my knee. It's better. I'll try it with a rear bag. That's getting better. So let's try something else that I have. Let's try, instead of a attached plate bag, let's try, this is my rear bag. This is a full size Game Changer, but it's got the Get Light fill in it. So see what that looks like. That's not bad. All right. Let me try my regular non-attached Armageddon Gear Schmedium Game Changer. Again with a rear bag, because that seems to help. Boy, that's pretty good. Maybe best yet. The other thing I want to try is flipping it upside down. It can help. It actually gives a wider surface area for the rifle. That's pretty good. Now I want to try a combination of things, so let me do that real quick. Alright, so now I'm going to try that same thing with the Schmedium upside down, but I put my plate back on and I'm thinking it might be more like I'm shooting off something flat. I could still, you can see I can balance that. I could still put this back here pretty high. Boy, that's pretty good. I think that's the best thing to do. Let me try just running a couple of shots and seeing what I do. It's supposed to be, let me see. Right, okay. So let's go ahead and try it. If I'm going to be able to hold everything. So I would say engage, do that, drop that. There we go. Here. Large. Large. Small. And move. Big airplane. After the far. And go. Large. Large. Small. It's harder over here. I keep falling in a little hole. Small. Small. Large. You get the point? I think this is my best sawhorse setup. It's not fast. This is a 12 round stage, so I have to worry about that a little bit, but it seems to do the best. Like I said, you put this on, it makes a really wide surface. It's almost like it's just sitting on a table. There's still a little bit of wiggle, and this ground doesn't help. But I think that's how I'm going to try to shoot sawhorses from now on. So, yeah, let's give that a go. Stage 3, 3-leaf clovers. So this is the tank trap stage, and basic tank trap stage. It's not that hard. We have 3 targets at 3 different distances of 62, 76, and 98 yards. We have to shoot from one position on the tank trap near to far, switch positions, go far to near, switch positions near to far, switch positions far to near. So right away what I am seeing here is I would start in the center of the tank trap, the crotch of it, and take my first shots of near to far. That's the steadiest position. That's where I'm going to learn my wing calls, and that's where I need to figure everything out. So once I do that, I can move off to one of the different tips and just kind of repeat what we've done. I don't think, even though this is a 12 round stage, I don't think this is particularly difficult as far as tank traps go. I will dial this stage definitely, and it seems like it's a lot of dialing, but because after a first position you start in the same place for the next position, so you go near to far and then you're going to start far to near. So the last actually the first position of every one you're not going to dial, so it's a little less dialing than you think it is. And I don't think it'll be too bad as long as we can figure everything out on that first position. So let's go out and see the best way to handle this. Like I said, we're not going to shoot the whole thing necessarily, but we are going to try to figure out the best way to do it and the best way to dial. All right, it's a tank trap stage. 3 targets, 3 distances. I'm still going to dial it. It's 12 shots. But it's not too much dialing because you get to hold that first position from your last position. So I'll come to the center first to get my wind hold. It is windy today, right left wind. I just checked on my Kestrel. It's about 4 mile an hour, maybe 2 o'clock, and it's giving me about a 0.2 wind. So I'm going to hold that 0.2 to the right, and it'll be good practice. Otherwise, I am going to run this through with the watch so that we can see if I have enough time to do everything with dialing. So I should, but let's see. All right. Shooter ready? Engage. Alright, plenty of time. 20 seconds left. Probably have time to dial a little bit of parallax in there. Those kind of distances, parallax isn't too bad. You don't get crazy fuzzy. You don't get real out of whack. It's the close stuff. If you let the close stuff get fuzzy, it's a little harder than if you let the far stuff get fuzzy. And you're more likely to miss the nearer stuff. So I always like to have the nearer stuff done with my parallax. So otherwise, that shouldn't be too bad. Stage 4, hitting clovers. So this is the prone stage. It's also the time stage, which I like. And so on the start signal, you're going to build a prone supported position, but you're actually going to start with the rifle grounded, and you're going to be standing behind it. So it's not going to be rifle in hand. It's going to be grounded rifle. Sometimes I start prone positions that way. And you get to run up to it. It saves you a little bit of time, actually. And then there's going to be a KYL at 40, another target 87, another target at 100. So we're going to start by shooting the largest KYL target. That's the 1 inch. Then we're going to shoot the 87, then the 100. Come back, shoot the 3/4 inch, 87 and 100. Come back to the KYL, shoot the 1/2 inch, 87 and 100. Then shoot the 1/4 inch, then the 87 and the 100. So one of the things I'm going to tell you right away on this one is we are going to have to dial parallax. So I'm going to look at that a good bit. I'm going to show you something else I've kind of designed that works for my particular scope. Might not work for yours, but it's what I'm going to use for dialing parallax quickly. So let's get out there and give it a shot. Well, I messed up a little bit, and I didn't talk about the most important part of this stage, which is parallax. That KYL target is pretty close, and the parallax is going to be important on those small targets to get right. Even if the rear ones are a little fuzzy, that'll be all right. This is the way I'm handling parallax now. This is something I just came up with. I am not only going to mark my elevation with marker, but I am also going to mark my parallax. This is a parallax ring I designed. It's specifically for the COF scope, and it is 3D printed and then sprayed with a coating that allows the wet erase marker to not only show up on it, but also to be removed easy enough. This is just for the COF. If you have a side parallax, you can easily put some vinyl tape on there and do the same kind of thing, and it allows you to do it very quickly, and I think it's going to work great.
All right, shooter, you ready? Engage. All right, so that's all it took. How much time I have left? 20 seconds. So plenty of time, even dialing parallax. I tried to pretend I was doing it every time. I actually moved it one time and had to fix it. But it's not a difficult stage. You're shooting small target at 1/4 inch. That's only once, and as long as your zero is on, it shouldn't be too much of an issue.
Stage 5, Luck of the Irish. So this is a 2-position stage. We're going to have the barrel on one side, and we're going to have 3 stacked tires on the other. It's going to be similar in height. I like shooting off the barrel. I hate shooting off tires. So we get to choose which one we shoot off of first. And that one gets 3 positions, the other one only gets 2. So I will start on barrel, guaranteed. Now there's a couple ways to shoot the barrel, which we've talked about before, and that is you can just shoot it with one bag. And if you have other barricades and stuff, it works really well for switching between them. However, I don't feel very good about shooting the tires that way. So what I am probably going to do, and we'll take a look at it, is shoot both the barrel and the tires in a modified prone. So we're going to use we're going to use a bipod and a rear bag on both positions. So what we need to do is figure out where the bipod goes on the rifle. We also need to figure that out without actually doing it, because when you get to the match, you're not allowed to put your rifle up on the barricades and test things. So knowing that position, knowing how to measure to see where it is going to be important. So I'll show you the way I go about doing that, and then we'll do some practice shots and see if a rear bag, which rear bag works best. Probably just going to be my normal modified prone, just like prone. So let's take a look.
All right, so we're going to talk about this barrel tire stage. And we're going to talk about using a bipod off it. So normally you show up at an event, you can't do what I'm about to do, which is, okay, I want this up here. Let's move my bipod back. I want to be, you know, somewhere around here so I can get my bag back. That's pretty far back. Don't always have to be under the buttstock. I have often shot with it more under the grip. It can be done that way. You just kind of use the edge of it a little bit so you can still get your hand in there, and it'll work just fine. Now if we move over to here, will that same distance work? And in these particular tires, looks like they are just fine. But what if you show up at a match and you're not allowed to do that? So what I tend to do is use something that you have available, which is your arms. I will use my arms and say, you know, I have this much, you know, a little past my shoulder or a little past my elbow, and then I'll come about where it should be, and I have a good idea about where the bipod should go. You could, you know, count hands, 2, 3, about 3 of my hands. You know, I want it from somewhere around the grip or more. 1, 2, 3, that's pretty darn close. And same thing with the tire. So that's just a way to do it. Get around the rules, which are good rules, but you should still be able to figure it out. And I didn't actually touch the prop to do it, you know, so that's something to figure out. And then this stage is just alternating between the two. I think this is a better position than that one, but I think this is a good way to shoot tires. Since they are wobbly, this is a good way to do it. So let's go ahead and try it. All right, shooter ready. Engage. Woo, still bouncy. Wow. Had to time that one. I loaded into that a little more. Tire's taking a little more time. I'm gonna start it a little back farther. Push into it, load into it a little more. Whew, that was tough. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't know if I made that or not. Probably not. So, this was not bad. This is the harder one. It just wobbles a lot still. I think a lot of that is because of this ground. If we're on concrete, it's not as bad. But I put it inside the lip a little more and loaded into it. And it did a little better.
This is all the way off it. Once it starts bouncing, it's going. Ooh, I wonder if I would not be better off with a bag on this, because that was bad. Just as bad. Not sure if there's anything else I can do to make it steadier. I can't get low enough. It's just a tough, tires just bounce. It's one of the reasons I don't like them. It's not realistic. I'm never going to shoot off of these if I have to, unless I really have to. I'm not sure there's anything else that can be done except what I just did. I'm going to play around with it a little bit more. I think it's also, these particular tires I have really worn out, so I think they're a little bouncier than the truck tires we shoot off of, but I'm still going to practice this and try to get better at it before the match. All right, shooters, that's it for this course of fire. I hope you enjoyed the new format, and I hope it will help you in your next course of fire that you get to shoot. I am not sure what I'm doing yet. I may be shooting at Pintucky at the end of the month. The 17th South match is the same weekend as the MPA PRS 2-day match in Swainsboro at Cool Acres. So I always shoot that match. It's a center fire match. And so I'll have to find another time to shoot. So I might shoot Pintucky at the end of the month. If so, I might see you there. And if I don't, I hope to see you out on the range soon.